Good evening. Joey Blaze here, live at the studio for a special presentation. Tonight we give to you Ronnie Cook, Life on the Field. Ronnie Cook was a player from the Washington County Flag Football League who later played in the Keystone Flag Football League, his time from 2015 to the end of the 2020 season. Ronnie along the way played for Survivors, shown here. Bearcats, unfortunately we don't have a jersey of that, but hopefully one day. As well as along the way, Top Gun and Misfits. As well as the Green Machine, displayed here. When I first met Ronnie Cook, it was in January 2015. We were holding practices / tryouts, yes, tryouts for flag football at the Morgan Grove Park in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. And at the time, Ronnie was a bit of an unknown to me. I didn't know a lot of guys from that way, but he was somebody that Daniel had met at the gym. If I recall correctly, please correct me if not. That was one of the guys that signed up for the team that was very interested and wanted to come out and play. At the time, Ronnie was a bit older. He was 33. And it was his first time ever playing 9-man. And the first time that he had played any sort of physical form of football since his teenage years, on terms of tackle and all that. And so it was a bit of a challenge for Ronnie, adapting to a new game that was very foreign to him and a lot of other guys at the time. You got to think, this is back in 2015. There was hardly any sort of trace of flag football in this area back then. And for a lot of guys in their 20s, and in the case of Ronnie, his early 30s, the appeal of 9-man was enough for him to climb on board and be part of our roster. Early on, he shined. As you'll see in this first video, Ronnie was pretty productive early on. He adapted to the game quickly. He was utilized at guard, tight end, wide receiver, linebacker, edge rusher. He could do it all. He had the height, he had the skill set, he had the knowledge, he had the toughness, the physicality. The only thing that hurt Ronnie was he was unable to stay healthy all the time. He would go all out, but his body being a bit older and beaten up from just life's wear and tear caused a lot of problems for him along the way. He was injured a good bit. But the one thing about Ronnie that I admired most was no matter how many times he got hurt, no matter how many times he got knocked down, no matter how many times things got tough, he kept going. Ronnie could have easily left our team a long time ago. We weren't very good. I'll be the first to say it. We were a rough bunch. When Ronnie arrived to Survivors, we were 0-11 all time. We barely looked like a team to begin with, and that second season was very crucial for us to try and reel guys in and build something for the long term. And Ronnie was a key piece of that. And a piece of that was very, very vital to our team. Because he was one of the guys who always came out to play, always was ready to go. He was a good listener, a good teammate, and to a lot of people, a good friend and family member. On this video, we'll show you 3 different times that Ronnie played. The first being that tryout back in January 2015, fresh off snow, hitting the area, fresh off cold weather. We were out there in 20-degree temps on Saturday mornings trying to learn the sport of 9-man flag football in an effort to field a team that we had high hopes for and were hoping to build upon. And I'll give Ronnie credit where credit's due. He made every practice, even when he was hurt. He made every game, even when he was hurt. You couldn't have asked for a better person to have on your team. As well, on this tape, you'll get to see not just the tryouts that we had that feature Ronnie pretty heavily. He's in every play. You'll see him in the gray hoodie. He's got a face mask over him. There's about 4 notable plays he has on there. An interception, 2 catches, and a touchdown. And it kind of shows you what kind of flag football player Ronnie was. He was very skilled, very versatile, adaptable, flexible. He could do it all. And off the field, he was willing to do more for the team. He was willing to put up more money to help get the team where it needed to be. He wanted to help build up media. It was Ronnie Cook who 11 years ago saw what I was doing filming-wise and said, what if we can expand upon that and build something? At one point, Ronnie wanted to invest heavy amounts of money in a film crew to make this work out. Cameras, microphones, the works. And unfortunately, it was something that we never quite got around to when we knew Ronnie. And unfortunately, he was unable to provide for because he had a lot of other things going in life. But I'll give Ronnie all the credit in the world. Nobody, and I mean nobody, was tougher, had more loyalty, and was not... I get choked up thinking about it because it's been 5 years now. And I kind of hate that we're now just getting around to making this. It's been a long 5 years, I will say. Ronnie passed away March 28th, 2021. That'll be 5 years from this upcoming Saturday. He was only 40 years old. And along the way, he made the most of every moment of life he had. And so tonight, we pay tribute to him with 3 different times that he played. The first being that practice. I said, he's in the gray hoodie. He has a black face mask on. There is a close-up shot at him a few times in the video. I took what I could of that tryout and tried to cater it to just Ronnie. But I also wanted to keep in as much as I can to allow his friends, his teammates, and everybody who knew him a chance to go back and relive those early days, first knowing Ronnie, first playing with him, and everything else along the way. The second game we have on here is Survivors and Nighthawks. That's from the spring 2015 of the Washington County Flag Football League season. It was actually the very first spring game in the history of the Washington County Flag Football League. We had a 9 a.m. kickoff that day. We arrived early. I apologize for the quality on that one. We were given a new camera to use that day, and it was not quite the camera we had in the first video. But we made sure to capture every moment along the way in what was our first win in franchise history and what was a pretty big deal to all of us at the time. We worked hard for it, and we felt like that day it all came together and worked. Unfortunately, that wasn't always the case with our team. And unfortunately for Ronnie, he was unable to keep going on a consistent basis. He was hurt a lot, but he always kept getting up and playing. He never quit. Whereas some guys get hurt once and never come back, Ronnie kept coming back. Ronnie wanted to play. And to his credit, he made every single play on the field count. Just like he made every single moment in life count along the way. The third and final game we have featured on here as well is one of his last games, if not his last game. I was not able to fully verify that. It is Green Machine versus the Browns from Week 3 of the 2020 Keystone Flag Football League season. It's the full edit of the game, down to plays only. I try to keep in as much footage as I can because we didn't have a lot per se, but we had enough to allow you to take a look back at Ronnie and the times he had on the field with the players he loved the most and the teams he loved the most. Fortunately, the one thing that we weren't able to get was the 2019 Keystone Flag Football League championship win that Ronnie had playing for the Misfits. And I know this is not the accurate jerseys in the time period, but we didn't really have another option. But that season, after years of putting in work, years of getting hurt, years of just dealing with a lot of off-the-field drama with flag football, because unfortunately that's a part of this sport, Ronnie finally got what he deserved. A 9-man championship trophy, his only trophy, but one that mattered the most in the grand scheme of things. So without further ado, I just want to give thanks to everybody tuning in, everybody who came out for Ronnie the day he had passed and went to his memorial service. It's so long ago now that it's hard, man. He was a good guy. He really was. And his death was something that really hit me, especially at the time. I didn't find out until we were doing the first episode of the Extra Yard, with Keith Giles, who I will credit as well for having one of his films in there at the Green Machine Browns game. During the end of the broadcast, as you'll see on here, because we do include that as well, I didn't learn about Ronnie's passing till probably about 10 minutes to go in the episode. And I had kind of scrambled, disappeared a little bit. During that, I was being asked what's going on. And what you'll see later on in the film was my reaction at the time and the words I had at the time. And when I look back at that moment, it's still emotional to this day. And especially knowing that he was just gone. You don't expect that, especially from guys that were always there some way or another. And when I went back to look at the old Survivors films last year, it really hit. Because you get older, you see how things went, you see how time passes, you see the people you used to know along the way. And the scary thing about life is how quickly it all fades away. Ronnie's life passes by like a warm summer day. And his legacy will live on forever. So without further ado, I present Ronnie Cook, Life on the Field.